and their boyfriends and husbands forced to be here. I'm kidding. Thank you, welcome to everyone. You guys having fun at Wizard World Sacramento? We're having a blast. Thank you so much for coming out. My name is Mo Lightning. I get to be the host for our big Q&As today. I have my questions for our guests. You do as well. If you haven't already noticed, some long lines already forming. Cannot promise we're going to get through everybody, but we're going to try to get to as many as we can. With that said, those of you who are asking questions, please keep it to one question per person, no personal requests. That includes no asking for hugs or kisses or selfies or for him to make out with you. No, none of that stuff, all right? Let's keep it classy, let's have some fun, and let's give a warm welcome to our guests. What do you guys think? Maybe you know our guest from Gossip Girl, or Once Upon a Time, or Black Swan, or maybe you know him as Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. Popular Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the one and only Sebastian Stan!
Good.
Yes, some water on a Sunday morning. Welcome! How's this city treating you?
It's a really great city. Some of you I might have met last night at the hotel, and so, hi, again. But no, it's fun, man. I wish I would be here for a little bit longer, you know.
Great city. I know Wizard World.
Capital.
And you actually get to answer your own questions this time. There is no Anthony Mackie on stage to answer for you.
No, I probably got to FaceTime him later and then tell him how it was.
Yeah, right? And then he'll tell you how you answered it.
So controlling.
He really is. So your chance to shine and set the record straight, I'm sure,
on many things I don't know the answer to, yeah.
All right. But it has been fun having you on the Wizard Tour, of course, with Evans on the past and Anthony Mackie and whatnot. The chemistry is obvious between you guys. And
we're just three men without a baby. That's I'm still looking for that child.
Any takers? Anybody want to help? Get that out of the way now. Okay, all right. And then you also hear, and I'm doing this to instigate, the Guardians of the Galaxy crew claim that they have better chemistry than you guys do.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can they even tell each other, like, apart from the CGI set? I don't even know. Oh, sorry, David, you're over here. You know, like, but no.
Easy to have chemistry at the green screen?
Yeah, I don't know. But that is probably a very cool crew to be a part of, I would imagine.
I can imagine. So when are you guys finally going to meet and work together?
Listen, you tell me. I don't know. Right now I'm sitting in an icebox somewhere.
It's true.
Underneath some palm trees and sand, you know, where like Black Panther's probably tanning.
Now, obviously you can't say much, but do you have an idea when if your character is seen again?
I just know he's still alive, so that's always a good indicator that something's still happening. But I have no idea. I don't actually, I know that movie starts filming in November, but I haven't got a call, so.
And like, how long in advance did you know that you were going to be a part of Civil War?
Well, I knew that in The Winter Soldier because I kind of had a little scene in the end, so I knew that I was going to kind of come back, but I didn't know to what extent, you know, where they were going to happen.
Okay, so Marvel...
They gave me plums.
So Marvel keeping it a secret even from the actors for the most part.
All the time. It is. Life and the movies are the same thing.
Nothing wrong with that, though. Keeps things fresh for you, too, I imagine, right?
Yeah, like I said, it's always, you know, it's like Christmas comes early every time with them, or not at all, but yeah, it is fun because we do get along, and it's funny though, you always need a little bit of a break from the character to sort of, and then you kind of start thinking about it again and missing it, and then, you know, you get involved again.
Well, I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the room here when we say we hope we see your character again here sooner than later.
We'll see what we can talk about 2 years from now on the stage.
We'll see what happens. All right, let's get some fan Q&A. I believe we have one that's over here.
Okay. Hi, is this okay? You've said in interviews, like for The Martian, that you're really excited about space and space exploration. And recently in the comic books, the Winter Soldier spent a lot of time in space. Do you think that Bucky from the MCU will enjoy space?
Yes, I would say.
It's not making an ice block, but that's...
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I'm alone again. I'm sure. I don't actually. I don't know where in more comic books he's in space. I haven't gotten to that part yet. So.
Thanks for the spoilers.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's going to happen there. Who knows? Maybe they're sending him off to the moon or something. But I do enjoy space. I'm a real, definitely into that.
It would make it harder, more difficult for the evil forces to get their hands on you if you're on another planet.
Right. Also.
Because that makes a little bit of sense.
It would also just mean not really having a job, but...
Yeah, that's good and bad, I guess.
Hi, my name's Katie. First of all, can we be on like a first name basis? Can I call you Sebastian? Is that cool?
Yeah, sure, Katie.
Great, yeah. So my question is, how do you feel about HydroCap? And if you're not allowed to say anything, can you just like blink twice?
Right, no, I heard about that. HydroCap is in the comic books or something, right?
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't know. It's like, I don't know what, it's like putting a car in a washing machine or something. It's so unfathomable to me, like, to think of Steve Rogers as being kind of always been involved in some sort of mastermind or something, scheme or something.
Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Adeline. First, I want to thank you for coming to Sacramento. It means a lot to us. What's your favorite memory with Chris and Anthony? Because you guys spend a lot of time together, whether it be on set, during an interview, or just an outing. Can you give us a story?
For some reason, one of us at some point in time, and it usually isn't me that starts it, there's always someone's breaking into a song, and you'd be surprised. The Evans has got quite an interesting playlist in his mind. Some interesting songs he's listening to. I don't know. I'd be curious. I've never been to karaoke with him, but I feel like he'd be a really, really enthusiastic player. And that only just kind of gives, Anthony like food for thought, because he'll just go off on that, the Adobe Brothers, Righteous Brothers. I mean, it goes on and on. So keeping a straight face with them is hard sometimes, That's probably it.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, Sebastian. Hi. So are you a method actor? And if so, how much of Bucky's personality, quirks, mannerisms come from you?
It's such a weird word, that word, I don't know what that really honestly means. I mean, I think like any actor, you just want to be believable in what you do, like that's our job, is just to try at the end of the day to make you believe that, we're experiencing something up there to some extent. So however it is that anybody does that, it's their own way of doing things. Bucky for me is always an interesting character to play, because there always seems to be much more going on with him than he actually, lets out. Clearly it's always fun when he doesn't speak, because then I'm always wondering, like, okay, well, what is he really thinking about? Where's his brain at? And so that's always like a lot of fun for me to kind of, when I'm on my own, just to think about and craft and kind of put together a story of what he may be going through. But I'm not really that kind of a lonely guy. It's like, it's romantic to think of being like the lone wolf once in a while, but I really enjoy contact with people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Sebastian. Over here. Hi, Sebastian. My name is Victoria, and I really love you. And I was just wondering what a day in the life of Sebastian Stan is like.
I'm being told I love you about 100 or 200 times.
Day in the life, you know, God, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm sure it's not as interesting as some of the people in this room. But I do, you know, I eat breakfast, I go for a run, I wonder about the news in the world, you know, and how, where do I fit into the world. I don't know, it's like I'm pretty grateful about a lot of great things that have happened, I mean, but at the same time, I'm mindful that I have to try to, you know, in the world that we live in, I need to connect with you guys or with people, and you know, the feeling that you get when you see someone, you know, come up to you and go, hey, you know, this means something to me, or this has helped me in some way, you've won there, you know, it's always a win, like no matter what job or no job, it's so, you know, I just try to be mindful and grateful, that's all.
Hi, Sebastian. I just wanted to let you know that like you do all your roles like to perfection. But that being said, what do you think? What do you think TJ Hammond is doing? Like, is he eating good? Does he shower regularly?
Oh, TJ Hammond. He's God. I hope he's all right. You know, I think I like to think he found his way. You know, somewhere down the path. You know, he had a really hard way of life because he grew up in sort of big shoes to fill. You know, his parents, and in the shadow of a lot of exposure and publicity and so on. And but I like to think he's all right. He's okay out there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he might be even married. I don't know.
Thank you.
Hi. I saw everyone running up here and I was like, what are we doing? And now I'm asking a question. Hi. So my question is, in the Civil War movie, when you guys were going against Spider-Man, I saw that he was strong enough to block your metal arm. How do you feel about Spider-Man being stronger than you?
Look, you know, it's really tragic. It is. You know, I mean, he's just this kid, and you know, and Tom Holland, unfortunately, is just somebody that, you know, takes such a long time with every scene, and particularly filming, and just, you know, something's in his eye every other day. You know, personally, I was surprised that he was able to catch that punch myself. You know, I think if the Winter Soldier hadn't sort of been a little bit like, what am I seeing, red? I guess so. I don't know, like a little taken aback, he might have, you know, gone through him, I like to think. He's Spider-Man, how can you go wrong? You know, he's like the most famous superhero there is.
I did like him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he is really great at it, so.
Thank you, you're gorgeous.
So given that it's Father's Day, are you going to give Mark Hamill a call?
Yes. Now I definitely will. He needs to know that I am out here thinking about him. Has he ever been to any of these things? Like, has he ever been to a Comic-Con?
He makes very rare appearances these days.
I may have to talk to him.
Star Wars celebration.
God.
Well, he says that he loves you a lot on Twitter, so.
No, I love him too, you know. Hi, Mark. Happy Father's Day. It's just yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Buenaziwa? Did I say that right?
You did. A very great accent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Theo Basque. Thank you for being here. And my question is, what would you do if you wake up Sunday and find yourself in the real Marvel universe, like with actual Hydra
Avengers and maybe even Loki?
Say that again. What would I do if one day I would,
You wake up and find yourself.
I would wake up and find myself
As Sebastian Stan.
as me in the world of Hydra and Loki.
Well, first be told he's gorgeous.
I would be like, just here to help, guys. Anybody want a Starbucks? Then I'd probably turn to Loki and be like, I'm a lot cooler than you. Don't worry. Put on the helmet. I know you got a lot of fans out there, but no. Yeah, I don't know. I would probably, try and pee.
Thank you, I love your answer, and I'm with you till the end of the line.
Hello, so I know you and Anthony Mackie are friends, but in the Civil War movie, Falcon is just mean to you and he even says he hates you. So how does Bucky feel about it or put up with it?
I would say probably for about 75% of the film, Bucky wishes that he could kind of rip his head off. But he's trying to be strategic because he realizes that, Mackie's really his only friend besides Steve. He's walking a very thin line over there, and so he doesn't really have a choice but to kind of, go along with the Falcon's sort of thoughts. But yeah, he's unimpressed with his probably, talk and witty chat.
Thank you, you're cute.
I would liken it to having siblings. I have two brothers, and I love them to death, but I hate them to death too.
No, but that's exactly what it is. I mean, the two of them are kind of like slightly inseparable after a while. Like they realize, I think, in this movie that it's very much that bro to bro kind of like, guy, I wish I could just take your eye out, but
It's my person to hurt, not your person to hurt.
Right.
Mine to
bother him. Yeah.
Oh, hi. What's your favorite sci-fi movie or book?
I haven't read sci-fi movies books in a little bit. But I remember growing up with like that Mars series, the Blue Planet, Green Planet, Red Planet. That was like a really huge thing when I was growing up. Sci-fi movie, I would say I'm still in the, like 2001 Space Odyssey.
That's mine.
That really was huge for me. Alien and Aliens are really huge. Even like The Abyss is a really great, great movie to me. Terminator 2. Is that sci-fi?
Yeah. All right, thank you. Hello. Sorry, I'm a little nervous right now because it's Sebastian Stan. My question is that in Winter Soldier, Bucky's he's very lean. There's not many meat on his bones. And then in Civil War, he's a beefcake. So did Hydra not feed him?
Just a lot of those plums, man.
At least give him a sandwich and eat for a few years or something, maybe.
A lot of that had to do with me. I kind of overshot it a little bit.
No, but you did great.
Well, look, I thought, I'm going to be surrounded by all these men. Like, I think at the time I was like thinking maybe even Thor was going to be in this movie. I don't know. So I kind of, I got up to 200 pounds. I mean, like I ate a lot. I had like a 5,000 calorie diet.
No, I've been through that too.
And but this was more like, I can just sort of eat anything. It was, so I realized, I kind of did ask myself that question. I'm like, I guess in hiding he was just eating a lot. But it was much more, the idea of, he doesn't really have superpowers, he's just a guy who's out there trying to protect himself, and I'm always haunted, and it's a great challenge for me, physically for one thing, although I can't keep that up all the time, of how can you fit in, you know, next to these superheroes, like, who are massive, you know, even in real life. So that's kind of how that happened.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Well, how do you compete with Hemsworth coming out of the Lake of Truth, and then Evans doing the helicopters? Like, how do you?
I mean, I don't try to do that. It's not my forte, you know.
So he won't. Oh, he doesn't have to. Oh.
There it is. I appreciate it.
See, they have to try to impress the fans. You just naturally got it.
It's all in the eyes, my man.
Okay, so I hope you learned me about my friends. Do you think, would you ever do a buddy cop movie where Bucky and Falcon
100%.
show up?
Tomorrow.
And do you think Bucky will ever come to terms with what he did as the Winter Soldier? Because we see him go under at the end of Civil War. But do you think he will ever be able to live with that?
That's going to really be up to the writers, right? But I mean, they're going to have to. I don't know what they're going to write, you know, and that's part of the fun is not knowing. But I would like to see him. You know, I think we've gotten to that point where, I mean, what do you want to see him go crazy, or do you want to see him kind of move forward and you know, start living a life again more confidently, and you know, maybe talk to a girl. I don't know. Go be out there, you know. So we'll see where they take him next. I don't know.
Thank you.
So nice of you, ma'am, by the way.
Hello. For the bronze, you mentioned listening to music to like kind of get into character, and I think you posted a video on Instagram. And then, was there any music that you listened to get into character for Bucky, or like what kind of music would you listen to, or he would listen to?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to like a lot of instrumental music, but there was, you know, I mean, I kind of go all over the place, you know. I mean, there was, you know, I had like, you know, the Radiohead way of going about it. I mean, the Sigur Rós way of going about it. And there was, you know, music by 9 Inch Nails and Daft Punk that I really liked. That made sense to me at the time, you know. Funny enough, even music from like the Tron soundtrack was really huge. That's a whole different movie or whatever, but so yeah, it kind of was all over the place, but it was much more instrumental like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So I'm a fan of Bucky, but I'm also a huge fan of Jefferson from Once Upon a Time. And I was wondering if you had any fun memories from that set, or like anything that happened there that was fun.
That was, yeah, I mean, that was amazing. That was a lot of fun, because I'd never really gotten to do anything like that before, and I was so amazed with those guys that they gave me that opportunity. But fun memories, I think it's probably just going crazy in that one scene that like we just let it roll for a good 20 minutes where he's like, you know, sewing or whatever, like the hats that he's making. It's like a quick clip. And they just let me go nuts. And what you see is like basically 20 seconds of like a 15-minute short film of me just losing my mind. So anytime anyone asks me to do that, it's a huge compliment.
Thank you. What was it like working on Gossip Girl?
I love me some Gossip Girl. No, Gossip Girl was really wild. I mean, living in New York, it was just great to shoot on in New York, first of all, for me. I mean, it's just like, I had never gotten to do that much of that before. And I was also really, you know, Chase is one of my best friends. I mean, like, the amount of fun that we had. I mean, there was that one episode where, like, he had to, like, throw a punch at me or something. I remember he could not keep a straight face. We barely got through it. But, yeah, I have a soft spot for it, you know, because when I was little, first of all, in Europe, I was watching like Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place. Like that's what I was growing up with, like at 8 years old, believe it or not. And so I thought it was kind of funny that suddenly I was playing this weird guy that shows up wearing a rug. And then like suddenly he's just in suits the whole time. But you know, he was a little conniving, and that's always fun. So.
Hi, I'm Bella. I was wondering if you ever went on to Broadway, what play or musical you would like to be?
Well, I managed to do it twice, and I'm always hoping to kind of come back and do that. It's a great question. You know, I recently went out for Guys and Dolls. Not on Broadway, but the movie. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But you know, I never say never. I would probably. I wouldn't mind. I don't know, doing something funny, to be honest. Like that would like slapstick physical comedy, something like that on stage would be amazing. Because then I'd get your reactions every night. And that's like the best feeling in the world.
Okay, thank you. I love you.
Longing, rusted, 17, never mind. I don't know Anyway, hi, I'm Joanna, and I was wondering, have you ever had trouble keeping a straight face while filming any scenes?
All the time. Yeah, of course, all the time. It's so hard because you know it's like kind of that thing. What I remember like being in a classroom or something when I was in high school. It's like once you start laughing, you can't stop, and the more you're trying to stop, the harder you want to laugh. But that happened a lot on this movie. You know, anytime I saw Paul Bettany in that costume.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Sophia, and I was going to ask, what was your favorite scene to film in Civil War?
Favorite scene, besides the car scene.
Your scene was beautiful, by the way.
Was I liked shooting that first time that Winter Soldier fights Steve Rogers in that's one shot we did. There's no cuts to that. And that was the first thing we learned when I got to Atlanta, and that was literally shot in the first week. If you know what I'm talking about, he comes in, he picks up Zemo, and then out of nowhere, like I charge at him and I push him through the elevator. And we had rehearsed that over and over and over again, and I was amazed that they kept it in one shot. So that was one of my favorite ones.
Thank you. I love you.
Hi, so while watching Civil War, we see some pretty big differences in your character's behavior. You know, the scene we were just talking about versus talking to Cap in the room. My question is, while acting in the movie, do you consider Bucky and the Winter Soldier the same character or two separate characters?
No, I think of them as two different people. Yeah, I mean, it just helps me in my mind a little bit. But you know, you kind of have to. It's just, you know, I think of it as like going to if I just think of Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, right, as like two different people. It's almost like, you know, which one goes to the gym more? Like, you know, if I go to the gym and I'm just gonna lift arms every day, then that's what's gonna be the biggest part of me, right? Or seemingly something else. So, in the same way, Winter Soldier's a part of who he is. It's the aggressive part of Bucky Barnes that has been over-amplified, you know, by Hydra or whatever his experience. So they are the same person, but it's just, you know, kind of like, yeah, they're different in a way too. But that's what's fun, and that's what's kind of nice is now he can't ignore that part anymore. He has to find a way to live with that part, or else be swallowed up by it, and as a consequence probably not make it, you know. So that's where he's at. So in a sense, now he's actually going to be a stronger person than when he started in the 40s.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Adam, and in Civil War, why did you pick plums instead of any other fruit? And did you finish all 6 of your plums?
I didn't get to eat any plums that day. It was very sad. You know, I realized what happened was it was just the types of fruit that they had there, and then I kind of just reached and ended up reaching for the plums. That's really what it was. I mean, it was not a whole like, I'm gonna have plums today. I must have plums to remember. Which would have been really interesting. But, he could have gone for the strawberries, I don't know. But he did, he ended up with the plums.
Thank you.
Hi. In your opinion, who was the biggest troublemaker on the set of Civil War?
Tom Holland. He comes in and it's like, it's like we need to have like pistachios on set. No, there's no real, it's Mackie, man. You cannot ignore the Mackie Thunder Force that comes in.
He will not let you ignore
No,
the Mackie Thunder Force.
You will either join him or be surrounded, swallowed up by him, so.
Thank you.
Hi Sebastian, my name is Callie. So I'm starting with a story. Yesterday I got my first tattoo and it's the Bucky cap star on my arm. And I was wondering, when you get your arm back in the movies, are you wanting them to change the star from what Hydra gave you to kind of portray your friendship with Captain America?
I really like that arm. I don't want to mess with it. It's good the way it is. So, I kind of hope that the star is still there. Look, I think of it as like it's a part of him. It's who he is now, and a part of who someone is, right? In order to get better, they have to sort of embrace the not so great about themselves also. So in a way, I think he would want to keep that, to live with it, and not sort of run away from it.
Thank you. Love you.
Hi, I love Civil War, and I think, there's so many, I love all the fight scenes, the special effects, and all the characters, but we do have just one question.
Tell me all about the scene with you and Mackie in the Volkswagen, because there's got to be like an hour worth of stories just from the two of you sitting in that car together. And also, how does Bucky not get shotgun in that car, by the way?
Falcon didn't let him. He called it first of all. And, but yeah, it's a good question. I just remember sitting there and it was very hot and, it was silence and, I remember at one point just started saying like, whatever you do, Mackie, please just don't fart. Just don't. For both of us. But we, it was a lot of making fun of Chris and kind of what he was doing over there. It was so awkward cooking that both of us couldn't keep a straight face. But our reactions to that kiss that he was having, were so big at one point that like what you see on what made it to the screen is like, nothing to what our reactions were, which were like, expressions, and we were like, no, listen, let's bring it down. You guys are about to go fight some people, But yeah, I put Mackie in a chokehold one time, There's some advantages from coming from behind.
Well, the whole bro knot thing was perfect. It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Haley. I was wondering what's your most memorable con experience in all the cons you've toured?
I'm never going to forget my first Comic-Con, which was Wizard World. Really, that's what I usually think of in Philadelphia. And that was 2 years ago, and that was an amazing experience. I've never, and that's why I'm here, and I'm going to continue to come back because it was very special for me. We do this sometimes, and then we go home, and time passes, and we sort of hope and guess of how it's going to react. So just to get like a little 4 seconds that we have when we meet at that table or in that photo op, just to know how you felt about it is a good feeling.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Sebastian. Thank you so much for bringing us so many amazing characters. So, what are your favorite lines among all the characters that you played before? And I actually prefer the lines in the series of Captain America.
Favorite lines of characters I've played before? Well, clearly, you know, the line, "I'm gonna make you my weotch," is a real favorite. I just remember always just going like, but I'm not on the date, I'm not really gonna say that, right? And they're like, no, yeah, you're not gonna say that. But that one always sticks out with me. I don't know, I mean, I think, obviously this, can you move your seat up is definitely a favorite one. I don't know, I mean, that's a tough question. There's been some really, "I am the god of gymnastics" was really ridiculous. Anytime I generally have to say the word no, it's always fun to say. So, I don't know, some of those.
Thank you. I love you.
Hi Sebastian. My name is Daisy. I just ran into you at the elevators.
We made it, both of us.
Yes. My question is, what was the difficult part of doing the fight scene with, oh my gosh, Black Panther?
Oh, right. Well, the thing with Black Panther is that he can't really see where that comes from. So, if I'm not really careful, he could technically hit me, and at times maybe he did. You know, but it's tough to fight Black Panther as a character because, you know, it's